Hi guys! I wanted to do a follow-up to my last video talking about my future plans for Samantha. So I didn't want too much time to go by. So first of all, I want to show off my look. These are my earrings, and you may be able to see my necklace says Samantha, and in honor of me talking about my singing plans for Samantha, I got this. See, it says MTV 1981, which is when MTV premiered. Now, for those of you who are just tuning in and don't know about Samantha, I'll put my clip over here, my link to the first video in the showcase. I am cross-dressing, and I'm excited about developing a music career, whatever that is. And in this video, I want to explain my journey, what I think I need to do in order to improve my look, go take this up the next level. I always look so good in the mirror, but when it comes to being in front of the audience, in front of the camera, that's something I've got to work out the lighting, because it seems to wash out. And when I look back at myself through the preview, I always see like a masculine face. So please tell me below if you agree or how close I come. So I figured out 8 different tasks, 8 different paths on the journey to becoming more of a female impersonator. The first task may be the most difficult. It's walking in heels, and I'm including this video of me trying out my heels. I should really practice some more. It's a great idea to practice walking in heels because of my foot. I'd say I don't want to show my feet on camera. I had a stroke in my, and it's recovering. It's it's nearly fully recovered. My left foot still feels awkward sometimes, like when I'm trying to turn, or when I'm walking in heels. My left foot can turn slightly, but that's just enough to make me lose balance, and it's not very good. However, because of that, I think walking in heels is good. It's good practice. If I'm going to become a female impersonator, I've got to learn how to walk in heels. The second thing I should be doing is exercise. I started off with a plan to do crunches because I reached out to fellow cross-dressers and female impersonators and asked them what they wanted, asked them what they do to maintain that shape, because I might as well, I'm letting it all hang out right here. There's my shape. I'm going to get better hips. I'm working on that. But I asked them, what do they do to keep in shape? And I got crunches. Apparently a few people do crunches, and I looked it up. Now, I caught a website where they were talking about how to, for women specifically, well, now I shouldn't say specifically, but it's how to get into better shape. And but it was addressing women. Okay, so they said crunches are bad for your back, and it could lead to back problems. So I want to stay away from that. But instead, they recommended push-ups. I think it was push-ups, and more lean cardiovascular exercises. I've got to look up more exercises there. I've been doing one of my passions way back in 1993 when I was close to graduation from high school was getting into contortion. And I wish I could do a contortionist. I really, I really wish I could do some of those really neat back bends, like getting your feet, curl. I think it's a back bend, right? Getting your legs to go all the way around and planted between your head, or sitting, doing. There's a back bend and there's a forward bend. I'm not that flexible yet. um, but I can do lotus positions, and so I'm kind of proud of myself. I can at least do that. Not totally out of shape, which is probably something I shouldn't say in a video talking about how I'm going to be. I want to develop myself as a singer. Um, anyway, so I can do leg crossings, and I straighten out, where you have one leg bent with your heel towards your other leg, your I don't know how to say it, towards yourself, and that's one leg bent and the other straight out. So and then I've been doing this, like bending forward, bending back, doing splits. And I'm going to look at more cardiovascular exercises. In my last video, I mentioned my BMI being 31, and I need to get it down to 25 at least, maybe a bit lower. That would put me at 160 pounds, which is sort of believable for a woman. So that's where the exercise comes in. That's why I'm really eager to slim down. Exercise can only take you so far. I've got to change my diet, or at least, well, yeah, change my diet. I've begun to drink more water, as you can see in this video. I got a nice water bottle from Wegmans, and I'm eating more fruits. I usually eat fruits, which is why it was sort of weird that I would lose more than 2 pounds since in my recent 6-month checkup. I guess I need more protein. I need more protein, and I think I need more yogurt. I had stopped eating yogurt because my budget my budget had to be trimmed down. Of course, right? It couldn't be my waist that's trimmed down; it had to be my budget, right? So I trimmed down, and that's, I think, when I stopped eating yogurt. But it's important, and I'm going to include that with my milk, with my water. I am drinking milk. I switched from skim milk to 2% milk because I'm so conscious about how much fat I take in terms of looking at the ingredients in my foods. And I think our body needs at least some milk, at least some fat. So I switched to 2% fat, and so you can see here, spinach, a lot of canned foods. I typically eat anyway. Now, as long as I'm coming clean, I do eat, occasionally, I do eat peanut butter, and not Skippy. It's a company called Peanut Butter Company, I believe. And I'm a chocoholic. I think maybe that that goes along with me because, portraying a woman. I don't know. But it seems chocolate is like a narcotic. Anyway, all right, peanut butter, and I've incorporated some bread now. I look for whole grain or mixed grain, and occasionally I'll have graham crackers. I rarely eat ice cream. In fact, I had a burned dairy ice cream recently, the first time in, I believe, quite a few months, which brings me to the need to do a food journal. A friend from high school, classmate, has runs a fitness. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's fitness related, and she recommended doing a food journal. And that's not the first time that I've heard about doing one of those. I started to do, but I stopped because of budget. Is drinking protein shakes. It hasn't been that long since I've had a protein shake. But I know I need to eat more protein, so I've been eating those there's a supermarket where you can get a large family pack, something like this size, and I think it's chicken, the little chicken slices. So I've been eating those, and for about 2 weeks, and I treated myself yesterday. Partly in preparation for doing this video, and it's my birthday. Oh, my birthday is coming up. This November 14th, I'll be years old. No, I'm sorry. Playing a very stereotypical woman. I'll be, I'll be 48. 48, this November 14th. I wish I could have more of a birthday party. I was invited by a friend of mine from Temple and she wanted to see me as Samantha. So I'm looking forward to that. I've got my outfit picked out, and I got I got some equipment to make a new set of hips. Now, you can look online to find out how you can make your own hips, or you can buy them. I bought them before, but one was very tiny. It was sort of like this big. It's not going to work. And one was it's almost like the three little bears. One was very large, and it was hefty, and that wouldn't work either. So, and I came across, now you may remember my earlier video, showcase number 1, Michaela. Now she said that she made her own, so that's what I'm going to do. I tried, and I'm wearing those hip pads right now, but I think the construction is different. I was working with a friend, and we were trying to guess how Michaela made hers. So now I'm confident. I've got an electric carver. If I need to slice a turkey or something else, it could come in handy. But that's what they recommended on YouTube in a few videos. And I got the foam. The foam is coming. Coincidentally, it's predicted to ship. It's shipping by Amazon. So it's predicted to come on November 14th. So obviously I wouldn't have it by then. So, but there's a weekend coming up. So it should be Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. So, I'm expecting that I'll have enough time. It shouldn't take that long. I should have enough time to be able to carve one for the weekend. Okay, so number 4 is voice feminization practice. As you can hear, rather, I've been practicing my voice, and I could always go better, but I still, to be honest, I still feel self-conscious. I don't know whether I can pull it off. I want to become a singer, and I'm going to try harder to perfect this voice, and not only perfect this voice, but to develop my singing voice. Now, not that long ago, without any idea of becoming a singer, I would practice my voice like this when I would drive to work. Nobody was around, and I would say, uh, 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 and then I would go down. And that's how I would practice. Notice how quickly I'm amazed at myself. I can switch back that fast. Anyway, I was practicing like that, and that's partly what got me curious about going into music. And as I said before in my earlier video, I had done poetry, and there are a lot of things. I was an aspiring television writer, and still would love to write for film, but I think you can perhaps go further if you're composing music. Sorry. So at the very least, I know I can be able to compose music. Whether I can sing, I don't know, but certainly developing my voice should help. It's also one thing to sing for yourself or speak in a more feminine way. It's another thing to do it in front of a large crowd. So I've got to take it up enough so that it's believable to a huge crowd. And I know I'm not starting from scratch. I was able to, like I said in my earlier video, I was able to talk on the phone and order some food delivered, and without speaking, without giving away my name. The other woman reacted to me as though I were a woman. So I think I'm on the right track. I just have to develop it better. Moving on to Amazon. As you can see here, these are my, I've got a separate playlist, a separate wish list created on Amazon for Samantha. Specifically, I've got one for Samantha and one for a singing, retro 80s singing Samantha. Now, I thought up how my look would be. That's why I'm wearing this. I didn't want to overdo it, and that would look too fake. But I wanted to look authentic to an 80s singer, female singer. So I'm building that up in my wish list, and we'll go on to number 6. I mentioned this already, but let me hear. All right. So the standard shape for cross-dressers for constructing hips is kind of like, it looks like Africa, and you can get them in several ways. You can get them as you can get them as silicone. You can get them padded. You can get them as foam. I'm going to go the foam route. So I ordered just a large, thick a rectangle of foam, and I'm going to trace out my hip. It's going to go from here all the way back around my butt cheek, and I'm going to probably trace it and then take the foam. Now this is from what I learned on YouTube. I'm going to take the foam and carve out using that traced outline. And so I'm going to come up with a very thick carved shape of Africa. And then from that, I'm going to carve, a larger a larger butt cheek and sides, although I don't think I need that much hip. Now, a man has larger shoulders than waist. However, for a woman, the waist ought to be at least as wide as the shoulders, if not more. So, and I also made sure, now these are, my breast size is 38D, in case anybody's curious. And so I wanted the proportions to be not exaggerated, but I wanted them to look realistic for a woman. Shouldn't take that long. The electric carver should, I'm going to use scissors first and cut it out, and then use the electric carver to smooth out the rough edges. Oh, before I go on, I should go back to number 4, voice feminization, and mention that it's more than just pitch. A woman's voice is 1 pitch higher than a man's. However, there's more to it than that. There's also enunciation. Women tend to speak more clearly. There is also, I think, more of a blowing when they speak, which is something I think I need to do. Of course, the voice box. A woman's voice box is only the upper part than it would be on a man. So I'm going to have to work on that. So I can clench my voice box to raise it, and that might help with my voice. And of course, there are the certain sounds that come more naturally for a woman. For example, I tried to emphasize the "hua" sound, and this is probably the nasal. Notice that nasal thing I just did when I said "and" man. That tends to be more something that a woman does, and I am thinking of the S sound, the pronounced S sound, and some other sounds that I think women tend to emphasize, and they also tend at the ends of thoughts or sentences, even words sometimes, to end on a higher note or at least an even note, and I tended to drop down. So I've been making more of a concerted effort to either speak upward at the end or at least stay neutral. And of course, women tend to use their hands more. Some have said that women's voices or women speak a little more slowly than a man, but I think it was so negligible that I don't think it's that serious. However, I will try to speak a little more slowly and especially more clearly. And I also think that a woman uses certain language that a man tends not to do. Now, I think this is more stereotypical, or at least the two mesh together. For example, also women, in terms of gesturing, women tend to use their hands. It's more of a flow. And a woman tends to have her voice move up and down. It's smoother. It's more what I call sing-song. And also, notice I did it sort of like a question. Okay, so roaming amongst women, I have been brave and asked some female friends some of these questions. I noticed that women will use feel, like I feel something, whereas a man would say or tend to say, I think da 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 da. Um, I'm not sure about pointing. That gets into just hand gestures. Oh, a woman will also tend to be more polite and say, "May I please?" or "Thank you," or I guess be generally curious. Um, in general, they would be more courteous. Um, could I have this, please? Whereas a man would be more forthright. Women would also tend to be more aware of color, uh, fuchsia and lavender and specific colors, whereas a man would be more binary. I'll say what I mean by binary. There's a dramatic theory that says that the I'll just say the female brain tends to see things in variation like a spectrum, whereas a man is more inclined to think in delineations. So a man would say pink, brown, blue, whereas I think a woman would, hold on, whereas I feel a woman would say perhaps teal or burgundy. As long as we're on this subject, what do you think about my eyebrows? There are different ways of handling it. Now, I want to do this and be able to shift back to my male form, so my natural form. So I'm hesitant to cut them off or do anything permanent to my eyebrows, but what I've done is gotten a product from Jecca Black. There's a seal tube and there's a block tube, and if you use one, you then can use the other if you want. I just used block. Jecca, I think it's block. It's not seal. It's block. Yes. And I just did a little bit. Now, in my prior video, I noticed that there was a little bit of cream left and it didn't look right. So I know that women, or the more feminine way, is to have thinner eyebrows. And now that I'm talking about this, talking about this, they tend to have arched eyebrows. Not all women. So fortunately, I'm in sort of in the clear. But it would help to sell the look, right? To have more of an arch in my eyebrows. And I used to draw. First of all, I still have a brown pencil for eyebrows, and I would draw in and make it brown to match my hair. That's another thing. Now I was going to cover wigs. It's a good time right now to mention wigs. As you can see, these are the different wigs I have. I've tried not to buy too many, but I have that. You may notice that more blonde one. That's human hair. And I can't remember whether it's a lace front or whatever, but I think it's a lace front. Anyway, it's human hair. And this one is, this brown one, this long brown one, is fake. I've asked people which one looks better. Now, I prefer the human hair wig, but people say that this one, the shoulder length one that droops down nicely over my shoulders, the brown one, looks more feminine, or at least looks better on me. moving on, I want to talk at least a little bit about GarageBand because I know I'm going to need to use GarageBand to compose my music. And I looked online, and there's a website called Canva.com. It's very versatile in creating thumbnails for YouTube videos like this one, and maybe other things. I also found that there's a template, a template for CDs. You know those CD covers? Back when they had CDs, they would have a case, a plastic case. You open it up, and there'd be artwork and liner notes and so forth. So especially because it's, what I'm doing is intentionally retro 80s, because I think that was one of the best decades for music. So it's the decade that I spent my childhood in, the 60s to 80s. I want to replicate that look. So I'm going to easily, cheaply, on my desktop, I'm going to create the artwork for the CDs. I have a romantic album, of course, and I want to show off my femininity, and there is a lot to say, actually. Even though I'm a man, I do have a lot of thoughtful things to say, and I tend to be, deep-hearted. I want to have at least 10 songs for each album. Okay, so I have the albums. Where do I take them from there? I am creating another YouTube channel specifically for Samantha. And I'm going to include nice artwork and include, I'm thinking about this. I don't know whether it's giving away anything for free, because I don't know if I should have my songs on YouTube. I've seen other artists doing that. And I also need to come up with a better name. So far, I have Samantha, which was taken from Bewitched, because as I explained in my earlier video, Bewitched, Samantha Stevens as a character was a witch, and I love supernatural women, and she would dress so well, and she was very intelligent, very smart, clever, so that's why I picked Samantha. I need a last name. I thought of Ariel as a middle name, and I thought of Gold as a last name, but I think maybe that would be a little too on the nose. So maybe you can think of a name for me, a last name for me. Drop down below in the comments if you can think of a better name, I'm sorry, not a better name, a good last name for me, for Samantha. So I'm just going to provide the music and see where it goes. I guess that just about wraps it up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, and like this video if you enjoyed it. I know you enjoyed it. And please comment below. Please comment below. I guess this is a good opportunity to explain where I think the look of my channel is headed. I'm going to have 3 playlists. I'm going to have introspection. First of all, I'm looking to change the channel name to Visionary Ventures, and right now it's Introspection with Jeff, but because I have so much creative inspiration, I want to reserve the introspection part for just one playlist, and then I'm going to have another playlist for creativity, and that's where I'm going to put this video. It's going to be called it's called Showcase, and you may have already noticed that all my videos are numbered. So by what playlist they're in, even though they all appear in the same channel. So I have my introspection playlist. By the way, all these, there will be an opening video, an opening theme. You know, like you're watching a TV show, or at least the way it used to be, you're watching a TV show and there would be a familiar opening with credits. That's what I want to have for this channel. I did it in my previous showcase video number 1. So I'm going to continue designing that. And I'm going to have that, and then it'll cut directly to like a title card or a small title screen where it'll have something more specific depending on which playlist it's on, that video is on. So I'm going to have, and then at the end I'm going to have credits. So, all right, so I have my introspection playlist. That's going to be about assessing myself, understanding myself better, and hopefully sharing my experiences so that you or the viewer can understand or be encouraged to understand him or her better. My voice is dipping down a bit. I'm going to try and keep it up. Okay, so that's introspection. Then Dramatica. I'm really looking forward to this. Dramatica, it's actually a theory of film writing or storytelling. What I'm going to do is talk about a certain aspect of the theory and use perhaps a popular movie or a series of movies and use them as examples of this aspect or these aspects of Dramatica. For example, does the main character have to change? No, the main character. Who is the main character? What defines the main character? And so forth and so on. So that's going to be my Dramatica list. So far I've got introspection list, and I've got Dramatica list, and the third is, of course, the showcase list, playlist. That I'm going to have for my creative endeavors, such as what I'm doing right now, talking about my singing career, or at least singing gig, and female persona, developing that, and I hope I can take you further on my journey toward better presentation as a woman, and better voice, better everything. And of course, I have loads and loads of YouTube shorts. It's funny, every time I say YouTube shorts, it makes me think of clothing. YouTube shorts where I give like a daily thought of a day, kind of more like a guideline for life, think of the cup as half full, stuff like that. And so that's my channel right now. And I'll save more for next time, and keep tuned in. I hope you like this again, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Okay, so one more thing. I've taken some pictures with me dressed up like this. Unfortunately, the lighting, as I said, I think I said before, the lighting is really way off, so it's throwing off all these highlights and so forth that are throwing me off. You can't really see my makeup, I think, very clearly. All right, you all know I'm cross-dressing. I just noticed there's a little bit of whisker of the hair there. Anyway, so at the end of this video right now, I'm going to include some photos like a montage of my, when you can see my makeup, and I'll include that here, and I'll see you next time. Now I'm going to pig out on some food.